In this tutorial, we are continuing with our karaoke machine, and we have dealt with song number 1. So we're going to have a look at song number 2, which is Best of You by the Foo Fighters. On the way to having a look at that, we will have a look at the code for Get Song Choice. So Get Song Choice is a function, and that means it will send an answer back to us. So you can see the very last thing that it says is return user choice. User choice is an integer. User typed is what they're going to type in, which is kind of like a word, it's a string. And got a number is a boolean. That means it's either true or false. We've either got a number or we didn't. We then have a loop that repeatedly asks the user to type in something that should be a number until it turns into a number. So we've used integer.tryParse to see whatever the user typed in, can it be converted into a number? So, and I actually can see I've just got a little bit of a mistake here. That should not be there. So got a number equals integer try parse. That'll either be true or false. And we loop until got a number is true and the user choice is less than or equal to the maximum song number. So then we're only allowed up to 1 to 4. And the user choice is bigger than 0. So we're not allowed negative numbers when we make our choice. Okay, so there's a very useful function here for collecting just a whole number from the user that's in the range of our songs. Okay, let's have a look now at Best of You. So here we go. Is someone getting the best of you? 1, 2, 3 times, and then a little bit of extra lyrics in between the second and third attempt at that. So let's copy and paste this here. I'm going to take that, I'm going to bring it up to my karaoke options, and I'm going to uncomment Best of You. So Best of You doesn't exist. If I point at it, I say show potential fixes, and I allow it to generate the method, then this is the kind of top-down approach to building your programs. We give it a sensible name, and then we go and create code. And again, if I just show, if I can right-click on that and go to definition, then it jumps me to the section of code where that is, and I replace throw new not implemented exception with some useful code that actually does what I want it to do. In this case, print the lyrics for the Foo Fighters song. Okay, let's just have a look at what that is then. So that seems fairly straightforward. 3 times we're going to print this thing here. But notice the best, comma, the best, comma, the best, and then the best there with no comma. Okay. Let's see if we can get that bit sorted. So we're going to print, or rather console write line, 3 times. So we say for someone, I'll call it. For someone equals 1, 2, 3. So we're going to print that, we're going to repeat that 3 times. And there's my next. And I'm going to say console.writeLine. Now for the moment, actually let's just take this whole line and stick it in there. So we're going to build this up a little bit at a time. Okay, console writeLine that 3 times. Now that will just print it 1, 2, 3. So after line 2, we need to add this extra bit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if someone equals 2, then, so that basically means it'll do the first line, it'll do the second line, someone will now be 2, and I know I need to put in some extra lyrics before moving on. So I'm going to just do some writing. Console.writeLine. And this is obviously split over several lines, so I'm going to have to put in things like plus VBCRLF, which we've seen before. That just adds a break onto the next line. Plus, this line here. And I'm kind of running out of space at the end of the screen here, so I'm going to break it up into a second line afterwards. Inside our if then else, we can put as many lines of code as we need. So we're not constrained. Console.writeLine. You trust, you must. Plus VBCRLF. Plus, and then confess. And because I've used writeLine, that will then put a break at the end of that line too. And then we should go on to the third sum one, which gives us our line back again. If I try this out, let's see what we get. So I'm going to choose song number 2. And that is looking quite accurate. So as it goes, that would be a simple implementation of that particular code. But I'm going to see if we can do a little bit better than that. I'm going to say that what we do is we console write is someone getting, and then we're going to say for best equals 1 to 4. And I'm just going to fix this here by putting my next. And I'm going to write console.write. So again, write rather than writeLine here because we want them to be on the same line as each other. The best. And I'm going to put a comma in there. And I know that's going to cause me a problem. And I'm going to take my of you and move it after the next. And just say console.writeLine. So I can do writeLine this time, because I can close off the line. So what I'm doing now is I'm using a nested loop. My sum one, 1 to 3, is the outside loop, and my best 1 to 4 is the inside loop. Let's have a look at what it looks like. So if I press 2 here, you can see that it does sort of work. Someone getting needs a space after it before I start a the. And the only problem really is that we get an extra comma just before the of you part. And I think I can live with that in terms of some karaoke lyrics. So I'm just going to fix my getting space the best, and then I'm going to leave it at that. So I press key to finish. So is someone getting needs a space after the getting. And all of the rest of that looks good. I could get quite clever here and say only print a comma if it's lines, if it's bests 1 to 3. But it's more trouble than it's worth, I think, at this stage. So we've got lyrics that are close enough, and I'm happy with what we've managed to achieve there.